Look at that crispy golden brown crunch and the perfectly moist, delicious interior thanks to that buttermilk and the stick of melted butter. Now let's get some textural crunch, shall we? Oh my gosh. The onions and the celery kind of just melt into the mix. The edges are so crispy and delicious, and the inside so delicate. Honestly. Oh, the butter glaze is calling to me. Hold on. Just 1 second, my friends. Oh, we're changing the game right here. This is called game-changing honey habanero turkey with stuffing cornbread. Yum. I want to develop a little bit more texture on here. I'm just going to scatter these onto my baking tray and pop these in the oven to help them get a little stale. Why don't we have stuffing more regularly in our lives? That has always been the question that arrives to me amid the Thanksgiving fever, because the stuffing is just like all the things you want on bread all the time. In so many different beautiful combinations. Okay, popping these into just like a 350 oven, 10, 15 minutes, just till they get even more crispy and golden brown and delicious than they are. We'll be back to those in a sec. Our cornbread has toasted. It has gotten some lovely crisp edges to it. Just dried it out a little bit more. And we are going to divide it over 2 sheet trays, because when it comes to roasting, the enemy of roasting is overcrowding. Overcrowding makes steam. Overcrowding ruins your maximum potential for texture. So go ahead and use 2 sheet trays. And just sort of scatter half of these over the base of your second. And the lovely part about this method is that the cornbread is going to be soaked through with turkey drippings as the turkey cooks, which we all know is a major plus. Honestly, this particular Thanksgiving meal, I think all Thanksgiving meals, we are definitely giving thanks for the volume of butter being used. It's serious, it's everywhere. And we are going 1 more layer of butter to complete this beautiful turkey meal. Just kind of wedge your tray on top. Get yourself a nice little bundle of paper towel and thoroughly dry your turkey pieces. This is not going to remove flavor. This is just going to soak up that little last bit of moisture that the salt was helping to draw out. Again, as dry as possible means the crispiest possible skin. Once all your pieces are dry, then grab yourself a now softened half stick of butter, and we are just gonna rub it all over, friends. And you know, if you have little pockets in the skin, you can go ahead and push little pieces of butter underneath there too. That is not ever going to be a bad thing. You kind of just wedge it right up next to the meat itself. Guys, in retrospect, I really would have preferred to have taken my ring off for this, and I just got too excited and forgot. So don't worry, it will go for its bath in peroxide later. Lots of soap. And just be a little careful as you work along the breast here, because sometimes the where it was cut from the backbone can get a little bit spiny. So just work somewhat delicately as you go. So we'll put the 2 breasts over here, and then the rest of this should be able to fit on this board. I'm letting my rings soak with some boiling water and soap as a first step in their cleansing ritual, because that was intense. Here's what your turkey will look like after you've gotten it fully lacquered in softened butter. And the little knobs of butter that you see sort of on the surface scattered over top actually are a great thing, because they will continue to melt and sort of gently baste the turkey as it cooks in the oven. The final step is to splash a little chicken broth onto the base of the sheet tray. And this is just gonna make sure that it's a 2-parter kind, and not a lot. I mean, we're gonna start with like, you know, 1/3 of a cup here, kind of just to lightly hydrate the base of our baking tray. And that has 2 benefits. One is it kind of starts to steam as the turkey roasts, so you get that like maximum moisture infusion, really beautiful cooked meat. It also helps to prevent the cornbread from burning, and that is the only sort of nuance, like pay attention moment of this recipe. Is you're going to want to stick around and smell if something starts to smell like it's burning. go ahead and splash a little more broth on top. You don't want to add the broth all at once because you'll risk having your cornbread break down and get too wet. You want it to maintain its texture, stay really nice and crispy in places, not burn, stay hydrated, and be as glorious as we know it can be. Yes, we have the first layer of the butter rub, but now we need to go back and really start to anoint this turkey in a way that will develop this gorgeous kind of sticky glaze outer crust with our honey habanero glaze. Okay, I'm just using a little pastry brush here to spread it onto the turkey surface. And we're gonna be doing this a number of times throughout the cook, so you don't need to be overly specific here. Just kind of get it over the surface into a 425-degree oven for half an hour. And after that first half hour, we will start basting the bird, layering on a little bit of broth when we need it, continuing to cook, and you will be graced with golden brown, caramelizing, buttery, habanero glazed turkey and cornbread, perfuming your house. What could be better? Okay, so after half an hour in the oven, you're gonna drop the oven temp from 425 to 375. And what that initial really hot oven does is kind of like seal the skin, make it really extra crackly, start that golden browning process happening fast. But then you wanna drop the temperature so it doesn't cook too quickly and risk drying out the meat. You want it all to cook evenly and at its own pace. Get some hot mitts. Whoa, baby. Look at you. Oh, yum. Close your oven so you don't release too much heat. From here on out, pretty much every 20 minutes, we are going to come back and baste with a little bit more of our habanero honey butter. And we're just gonna come in and give each piece a little more glaze, especially if there's any parts looking like they're getting dry. Come back, give them a little extra love. And now it just sort of melts and glazes over each piece. A very golden brown and juicy turkey, yum. And then just a few little splashes of broth just to make sure nothing is getting too dry, but also nothing getting too wet. That's a real Goldilocks dilemma over here. You know, you're really not adding more than, call it, 1/3 of a cup at a time. Back to the oven, another 20 minutes, and then we'll baste again. And remember, each time you baste, you're gonna wanna switch the pan's top and bottom. So this was on top before, we're going to the bottom, and vice versa here. And that just makes sure each of the turkey pieces is getting even heat. Smells good. Moment of truth. Our turkey is done. It has been in the oven a grand total of about 90 minutes. So again, like half the time of a full turkey to cook. And wait till you get a load of how beautiful this turkey looks. Oh my gosh. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I present to you honey habanero turkey. Oh my gosh, are you kidding? Cooked in half the time, super juicy and flavorful, all the crispy golden skin you could ever want. Customizable ratios of meat if you'd like to do more legs, more breasts, more thighs, more whatever. And stuff and cornbread all underneath. So now we're just gonna wait half an hour, let our turkey rest so all the juices redistribute and you don't let them all run away from you when you cut into it. And then we shall taste. Actually, before we do that, before we taste, I'm gonna make a little bit more of that glaze fresh now so it hasn't been on the raw turkey so that we have a little something to zhuzh over top. Okay, come on back in like half an hour. Oh my gosh, the smell coming off of this cornbread is so insane. I let the turkey rest half an hour so those juices redistributed. I wanted actually to have, even though there were like, you can see there's amazing texture on this cornbread, I really wanted like extra crunchy crackliness. So I took the turkey off and rested it elsewhere and then laid all the cornbread back on this platter and went back in the oven with it. All right, let's slice this beast. I'm just gonna do like a lovely kind of rough and tumble plating where we're going to scoop up mountains of glorious cornbread stuffing, cornbread stuffing. Get that all over. I did already plate the legs and the thighs and the wings. And so these can just sort of layer on top. Obviously, we play the game of putting the crispiest, crunchiest pieces right on top so people see and are tantalized by what is about to happen. And then we are going to lay the sliced turkey breast right on top of that stuffing. Grab your beautifully roasted and well-rested turkey breast. And we have underneath here this breastplate and obviously hard cartilage and bone here. And so you're kind of just looking to slice alongside, honing as close as you possibly can to the bone so that you're not leaving any meat behind. And honestly, you can shave it right off of here as you go, but this just makes it really easy for your guests to come by and grab their slice without having to wait for you to carve it in real time. Okay, there, beautiful. Now, you see I have this lovely little bit of meat left on here. You can obviously pull that off. But this is juicy, juicy turkey breast. Let me just show you. You are not skimping on juiciness or flavor. And just wait till I pour the glaze on top. It's done. Done. Perfectly cooked, perfectly tender. Ta-da! Now when it comes to the breast meat, I just like to slice it across maybe like 1/2 inch sections, 1 inch sections so that the skin stays on, because guys, you developed such beautiful color, such beautiful flavor with that honey habanero glaze. You want to make sure that your guests are there to savor it, to notice it, to compliment you for it. You deserve that. Scoop her up, nestle her on the mountainside of cornbread. And then just to gild the lily, and by the way, you obviously have all this yummy little meat, just tuck it in on the side here. Bring your turkey to you. And just start to drizzle over top for a little extra boost of hot, sweet, flavorful goodness. And then, remember way back when we had the question of what we were going to do with our candied habaneros? Well, aren't you glad you saved them? Because now you have them to scatter over your beautiful roast turkey and offer up just actually, you know what we could have done? We could have whisked it into that mix, but honestly, they're so hot, orange, and beautiful to look at. And every once in a while, someone will get a real spice heat, real spicy bite. Oh, guys, if you make nothing else from this recipe, let habanero honey be it. And that, my friends, is how you make a truly spectacular, otherworldly, totally off the beaten path, and yet still delightfully comforting honey habanero turkey. And last but not least, just a little crunchy salt going over top. All right, looks so good. Okay, let's do what we came here to do. Let's taste this bad boy. Oh, if you thought turkey breast had to be dry and not delicious, how wrong you were. But even better, if you already liked turkey breast, this is going to be very, very special for you. Okay, we've tried the cornbread before, but now I want like the whole mix together. Turkey breast, turkey skin, drag it through a little of our habanero glaze. It is hitting all the high notes. We are very excited here. The only thing that could possibly make it better is to combine it with some stuffing cornbread and our little tiny candied habanero, just for you. Grab that cornbread, take a little of your glaze, drizzle it on top. A+. Just gonna go ahead and give myself an A+ on this meal. Guys, you're gonna crush it. You are going to love the flavors, the balance, the ease, the festive presentation. It's not a full turkey, but I'm sorry, you put this on someone's table, they are going to be very happy of this beautiful Thanksgiving dinner. And the best part is, if for some reason you have trouble finishing this gorgeous mountain of turkey delight, I have an incredible recipe for how to use the leftovers, so you'll have to come on back for that one. Or, eat it all tonight. Have to say, I don't think you will be complaining either way.